Althea, uh, tell us what is the best way for people to connect to their star family or to start putting that out there? Hey, I need some help. What do you recommend?
I think asking. A lot of people, they like, oh, why isn't my galactic family connecting to me? Or are you asking them? I think asking them is already, a good start. And then clearing your system in a way that you can actually get to a frequency where they can connect with you because of their high vibration. If you're in a low vibration, they're not going to be able to connect with you because they already need to lower theirs to get to yours. So as you raise yours, they kind of lower theirs, and then you get to kind of like a meeting point. So really clearing, meditation, listening to light language, doing things that make you really, really happy, and following your passion and being in a space of love. Anything that really raises your vibration will bring you closer to connecting with higher versions of yourself and your galactic family.
I think that's very true. And I think also we're so literal here on planet Earth that the way that I understand it, these non-human, right? The non-human, I'm not talking about just spiritual people, but these non-beings, I don't really like calling them ETs, but whatever you want to call them, these higher dimensional plane non-humans, their bodies, from what I understand, are more of an etheric body and not like ours. So their body is not, and I have to explain this to people just so they understand it's not exactly the same as us here, which has a 3D density body, muscle tissue, all of that. Theirs is an etheric body. So many, even with like near-death experiencers, they'll say, "Oh, I see angels," when in fact they may see Elohim, but they may be seeing some Arcturians that are so glowy and bright that they're literally look like an angel, because we don't have a vocabulary, but they're high vibration. So it's not uncommon for them to come and visit people in their sleep state or their astral state or their meditative state. Do you want to speak on this? Because I know that you're, very much so into meditation.
I think different beings that live in different densities and different dimensions. So dimension and densities are different things. But some of them do have a physical body. They just live in fourth dimensional density, but they still have a physical body. Maybe not exactly the same as ours, but it's still kind of physical. And I think a lot of them can choose whether to stay in their etheric body or come in and inhabit a physical
That's a good
body.
point.
Like we did, like we were, beings in etheric bodies, and we chose to come here and incarnate and live this human experience. With regards to me, I have different types of contact with high vibrational frequency beings. So I'm part of a hybridization program, which means that I actually have a hybrid child who's, I think he's around 12 now. I was first came in contact with him in 2018, 2019. And I know he's a boy, and he came to me, and it was very beautiful. When I saw him, I was in a deep meditative space, and I cried, and he said to me that he was part of me and I had made him and whatnot. And then when I went in regression, I recollected a memory of when I was about 3 months old, that I was taken up and some genetics were taken from me, and still occasionally they still do it. Because I agreed to be a part of this hybridization program, which is basically creating the new beings that will come down for first contact, in order for them to be a mixture between humans and ET beings, so that they're not so scary for us. So when they do come down, we do have first contact, we're not seeing beings that are very, very different from us, but that do have some slight of our genetics. So this is something that I agree on. There's a lot of many different timelines, but to me, this is a very beautiful experience that I have. And when I encounter, I get also taken up to ships and into pods. But this is different. This is connected to my Pleiadian galactic family. They take me up in pods. Sometimes they actually come here in like their dimensional density, but I'm still in my room, and then they put me in a pod, and then they do work on me. Sometimes they're working on me and I'm in the astral, but I'm awake, because of obviously we all multidimensional. So sometimes I'll have them working on me, but I'll be either here doing my own work or lying in bed like awake, because I know that they're working on me and I can't really do much, but I'm still like awake. And then sometimes I'll be in full astral. So it really, really depends. Everyone's experience is different. I speak very openly about mine, even on my channel, and things like that, because I think there's a bit of a stigma around it, and people generally associate ETs coming to you with negative and things like that. And I think it's important to also understand that every experience is what you choose to make of it. So if you choose to get it in a negative way, then you're choosing to be in a low vibration. For me, for where I am at now, I have dealt with everything, well, most of anything that was pre-contracted with me that was in a vibration that isn't the one that I am in now. But because of the vibration that I hold now, anything that is of a low vibration frequency would want to harm me is actually not even allowed in my field. So that's the point where you want to get at. You want to have these encounters, but you want to be in a space of love and gentleness and caring and whatnot. And obviously, if you've pre-contracted to have an experience that is more, how can I say, intense and whatnot, then that's okay. That's also your lesson to understand. But seeing everything as a lesson, there's no wrongs, there's no mistakes, there's really lessons, really.
And I love what you're saying, because we don't have to have these painful suffering. I've decided I don't want any painful suffering experience. Now, I understand this body sometimes, it's like a car, you might need to repair, but you can also do that. You try to do a lot of that in the etheric or with meditation and so forth. But you're right. You can't be such at a high vibration. You go, I refuse to deal with this. Yes, I know it's there, but you know what? I'm going to stay in my lane, which is love and light. And the things that are dark don't even come. And plus they know, like, don't even mess, don't even try, because this is where I live. And they don't. So people don't realize they can do that. And that's absolutely true. With me, I don't have any issues. I did growing up because I didn't understand, but everything's terrific now. If you stay in that divine light and that love, that's the frequency you're going to get. So let's go back to the hybridization and so forth to explain people, because, people are all different spiritual levels that are hearing this. And so that would be, what would be the purpose of that? And I love when you were talking about, explain also first contact, which I think it's going to be within our lifetime.
I also think so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I can't wait, because I'm getting super excited. So explain what that is, the first contact, what you think is going to happen, and how people can raise their vibration. And people might also be a part of this hybridization program and really not know it, because a lot of the work you said is also ethereal, and you started through regression remembering this. But people watching, just remember, at night when you sleep, most people don't sleep. You're just busy doing stuff. You are talking to people, you're healing people in the etheric. I'm on this little grids around the planet, there's white lines. I'm just zooming around like portals, talking to people, doing things. So we're very busy. So we might not remember it all, but we are doing things. We're getting lessons. We're being taught in etheric classrooms. So we're also doing something. So I don't think it's odd for us to meet our galactic brothers and sisters during this time. So speak on the hybridization program and first contact, so people know what that means if they haven't heard that.
Yeah. So it's basically just, there's basically these different areas that have been set up on ships, actually just outside the atmosphere, not very far. I think they've gone through a few different generations now, because of the timelines keep on changing. So it's impossible really to predict a timeline, but what's happening is they're mixing ET genetics with human genetics to make these hybrid children, which then will grow up or will come and connect with us, and they won't look as different. So it won't be as visually scary and impactful for humans. Some of them are actually already among us, not a lot, but some of them are already among us, because they do come and study and understand how we are and what we do and whatnot. So this is basically it. This is how I understand it, and from what I've channeled, but I know there is information about it out there. So if you do your own research, there's quite a few people. It's mainly, from what I know, from what I've seen also, it's mainly women, because I think they take genetics or our eggs or things like that. So I want to also say, guys, I've had a child. My system is functioning perfectly. They haven't done anything to me that's affected me negatively, because I know that there's people out there, there's a lot of fear and stigma around this and around gray beings and around beings, that connect with us. But people need to understand that there's no good or bad species. Like there's good and bad humans, there's also good and bad aliens in every species as well. So it's a very, very important things to say in my opinion. And with regards to the astral, I just wanted to add something. A lot of the time people wake up exhausted and they feel like they haven't slept and whatnot.
Yeah.
Guys, we are fighting a war. There are full-on battles. Like last night, I was in a very intense battle in the astral with a lot of light workers. And you might not remember it, but because you're multidimensional, because your soul was doing the work, you were also there. So it's very important to also understand that you are doing the work as long as you stay in your vibration in a high frequency, you know, and obviously in a space of love. And as we were saying before, if you stay in a high vibration, things, I mean, you can get psychically attacked because it's just the way it is. We in polarity, so it can still happen, but just not allowing for that to consume you. It's the same with emotions. You want to feel, if you're stressed, if you're angry, if you're sad, feel the emotion. Don't ignore it. Feel it. Don't get consumed by it. Allow it. Release it and let it go.
Pass it through. That's very good advice. It's funny. I've had people come to me and say, "You were in my dream the other night." I said, did I look really good? Did I look like an angel? And did I look like really better than I do now?" They go, "Actually, you," and was my hair like longer and redder? And they go, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Yeah, what was I doing?" They said, "Well, there was this dark thing there. And you said, 'Be gone in the name of God.' And you blew it back with light." I went, "Yeah, that was probably me."
That's so interesting that you say that, because that's quite a lot of clients come to me and they say, "You were doing work on me in the astral." So it's very interesting that, and then I've got phases, I've got like weeks where like in the span of like 2 weeks, I'll get, I don't know, 20, 30 people contacting me. "Hey, you were in my astral. Hey, you were in my," so I've got cycles where I'm more astrally active and then cycles when I'm less astrally active. So, I mean, it's a whole different world out there.
Well, that's evidential. When someone comes to you, especially if you don't know them very well. It was a lady who did a facial on me, and she said, and I saw her once, and she goes, "You were so-and-so, and you were in," it's almost like she was afraid to tell me. I said, "It's okay. You can tell me." And I said, "Yeah." And I had chuckled and laughed. But the strangest thing is, this can be evidential, is there was a lady, I don't know who she was, wrote me in Spanish. She was like from Argentina, and said I came and visited her to help her with her grieving, and that lost her husband, and told her everything was fine. And she said that I spent time with her and told her my name, and she looked me up. I had to have someone translate it. And I'm thinking, that is crazy. So we're very busy at night doing things, just as busy at night during the day. And especially either you're really tired, or if you ever just go to sleep and then you wake up, like what happened in between? Like it was so deep, you don't even remember. You're really busy then. I mean, you checked, and your body's fine. Our bodies are fine. We wake up, it's still there. It's okay. So these are things we should not be fearful of. And then also the first contact, this is basically where different non-humans will be presented as that and be on Earth, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how it's going to happen or when it's going to happen, but it is going to happen at some point. And I do believe it will be in our lifetime as well. And yeah, I mean, that it's because of so many timelines merging and mixing and whatnot. There's, it's really impossible to predict. And I think any channeler that says they have a date or they have this or they have that, they just tuning into one timeline. So I would, be wary of that, but to each their own. So yeah, it would be when they come down and they like, "Hey, we are, non-humans. We're here to help you. We love you," and whatnot. And to make that easier, they will resemble us to a certain extent.
No, that makes sense. And we are also, I believe, we're also them. We have a lot of their DNA, and they already have some of ours. And it could be, you're speaking of timelines of past, present, and future, and also different parallel realities, or, there's so much there that are we in the past, and maybe we were them, maybe they were the children, maybe they're more advanced version. I don't know. I mean, that's another thing to throw out there, because what I'm saying is I don't think we're that separate.
Well, if you just look at Bashar, channeled by Daryl Anka, he's channeling an Essassani being, which is like 500-600 years of Earth ahead of us. So there is no time and there is no separation, because there are people out there who are channeling versions of us, which are more advanced, but from Earth itself.
Right. So, I mean, that's just a different way to look at it, that there, and it's a hard concept. You think, well, what time? The other thing is what you said that I thought it was really important, and about predictions and about psychic predictions or predictions on timelines. What I'm seeing is it's changing so much in flux that you have
Yeah.
different outcomes. And so when you hear some people that get, you have to be careful about these outcomes and not manifesting like some people that want this millennial, it's called millennium, where, you know, you have disasters and all that. I personally am not seeing any of that, but there are that could be another timeline from another whatever reality, you know,
So from what
or it
I've
could or could not happen.
From what I've channeled, what's happening is we're actually clearing Atlantean timelines and Atlantean karma at this moment in time. So Earth itself also needs to go through a karmic cycle and clearing. So unfortunately, how does that happen with natural disasters? So it is a possibility because Mother Gaia needs to heal her own karma herself as well as we are doing our own. But when we will step into new Earth frequency, what's going to happen is the actual soul present in Mother Gaia is going to leave and a new one will come in with a new vibration, a new frequency for us to walk in together. We've entered already lower fourth dimension, positively polarized Earth as a collective and as Mother Gaia, not as individuals, which means that we are, as you say, on the right track in the awakening, getting to where we're supposed to be. However, there's so many timelines, but there's certain things and certain lessons that we need to go through that need to be cleared. So, but as you said, it's impossible to predict when or where or what, because they're all merging, and depending on the vibration of humanity as a collective, we can move through it more gently if we stay in a space of love, while if we chose to focus on the negative and on the low vibrations, then it's going to be harder and it's going to be more difficult, and we're not going to move through it smoothly and easily. So to a certain extent, we still have to go through certain things, but on the other hand, we can make it pleasant and beautiful, and loving and caring.
Absolutely. And I think that what we're feeling is those that are still here that still want this 3D world, that they're giving resistance. And some of it's very, like you said, we need boundaries here, that they are bullies, kind of, right? And instead of staying in their own lane. And so that's going to be handled too, because it has already been spoken forth that we as a race, we need to move forward to this, quit killing each other, get out of this whole downtown game and move forward to a higher vibration of love. And I definitely believe our star family is helping with that. You know, angels, all of that, the different realms are helping us in the best way that we can. And just by us talking about this is raising the vibration and the awareness.
Yeah, and I think also what's happening is there's a lot of souls that are contracted to leave. So this is why there's a lot of deaths. And as well, this is Mother Gaia clearing the karma, and a lot of new souls coming in, very, very high vibrational frequency, babies and children coming in with clear karma, with clear slate, to help to get that step higher into the new Earth frequency. Yes. So for now, us doing this work and the people watching as well, we are bridging in between the old and the new. So our role is so important, and it's also enough for you to just be in a frequency of love and hold your love and hold your frequency, and you're still doing enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And so because of this fight, now, you know, you wonder why now. I mean, there's so many predictions, the Aztec predictions of this happening, different cultures, that this would happen at this point in time. But you think through Earth cycles, we've had so many of cycles of these downturn games and wars. But why now? Why is it a new game? And some people might say that it's the end of the world. Well, I mean, you know, any type of real change might feel like an end, right? Because it kind of has to end for something new and beautiful to emerge. So why now? Why do you think it's now? Because we've been playing this really downtown game with humanity, and I think so many people are sick of it.
It's just a cycle, like there was the fall of Atlantis and then the rise again, and the same in Lemuria. It's just a cycle. It's all cycles, and remembering that the microcosm reflects the macrocosm. So what is happening on a small scale is also what happens on a larger scale. So we just need to look within us to understand what is going on around us.
Okay, so it's a cycle. That makes sense. And for those watching, Atlantis and Lemuria were on Earth. They were a test. And they survived several, I mean, what is it? I don't know how many years they survived. I mean, they did, but then it came to its end. So this is more planetary wide. Okay, we're part of this project now. It's time to move on. So it is really exciting. And I feel like the biggest thing here is just to keep an open mind. And again, keeping in that love frequency. Well, look, I know that you have been so gracious with your time. Hope you can come back and share some of your journey. And I'm sure you'll have some amazing spiritual experiences and share with my audience what your spiritual truths were during your time in India and what you can pass along to others, because I'm sure you're going to get a massive download. I don't know why. This is going to be really good for you.
They've been wanting me to go there for like 3 years now. So
yeah,
I have to prepare psychologically.
Well, and the other thing is,
come back.
They're raising all our frequency. That includes you too. And so, so I think it's funny at night. Sometimes I hear this high pitch and I'm like, oh, they're doing it again. Okay. And so, so it should be interesting with what you do get from that, because I know they're going to be working with you too, because you're much loved and part of this important movement for, I call it a love revolution, a galactic love revolution that we're all a part of. Well, look, thank you so much, Althea. You're wonderful. Everybody connect with her and check out all her links below, because she really does have a lot of really good content on there and activation. So check it out. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Namaste. Thank you. Please subscribe, like, and make comments, and support this channel by becoming a member. Thank you for your continued support.